The Shroud of Turin. Is it an image of Jesus? The four Gospels of the New Testament describe the scourging and crucifixion, the death and burial of Jesus Christ. The so-called Shroud of Turin, an over 4-meter or 14 feet long linen cloth, stored in the cathedral of the Italian city of Turin since 1578, shows the image of a severely wounded man. The cloth has been considered by some to be the burial shroud of Jesus, while others have viewed it as a medieval forgery. In recent decades, it has been thoroughly analyzed by scientists. What can be said with certainty about the cloth? The linen cloth itself consists of high-quality linen in a 3-to-1 herringbone twill. After a fire in 1532, during the time it was stored in the French city of Chambéry, burn holes and dark spots appeared on the folded fabric. For a while, it was believed by many that the image of the man was either painted or otherwise artificially created. The majority of experts now, however, believe it to be a genuine burial shroud of a man. Looking at the arms, a big wound can be seen on the wrist, anatomically the only place where the nail could fixate the hand to an object, like a crossbeam, without it being torn off. Since the Middle Ages, it was widely believed that during crucifixion the nails were driven into the palms of the hands. You can see that the bloodstains on the forearms came from these wounds on the wrists. The visible blood must have leaked out when the man's arms were in a raised position. Let us have a look on the legs. One foot is clearly positioned behind the other. The print on the fabric is, of course, reversed. Blood must have poured from wounds on the feet. Both feet had likely been pierced with a single nail. Bruises are visible on the knees, also traces of road dust are detectable, just like on the soles of the feet. This suggests that the person fell to the ground at least once, a short time before their death. On the torso, over 100 stripes in a zigzag pattern can be seen, especially on the back but also on the stomach and legs. We know that the Roman whip, flagrum or flagellum, had up to 3 strips with small lead balls. So, it could have been about 40 lashes. There is a minor blood stain of about 4.5 times 1.5 centimeters on the right side of the chest. The wound was most probably inflicted after death, as the Romans did with a spear to determine death. On the head, there is blood that must have run down the forehead from tiny stab-like wounds. The small amount of blood suggests that the pointed objects, such as thorns, were removed only after death. There are swellings on both cheeks, possibly caused by blows, and the nose is displaced due to a bruise but not broken. The analysis of the pollen and plant residues revealed traces of 13 different plants from a saline environment, halophytes, most of which are found between the Dead Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, such as in Israel and the West Bank. Probably the most interesting of these is the plant Gundelia tournefortii. It also blooms around Jerusalem and only between February and May, so around the time of the Jewish Passover. According to some, traces of small flowers are faintly visible on the fabric, which are marked with red color in this picture. The analysis of the liquids on the fabric has shown that the cloth contains all the components of human blood. Skeptics have often criticized that these bloodstains have a suspiciously red color, and dried blood should be brown to black. Under great stress and pain, however, the body releases the bile pigment bilirubin, which gives the blood a lasting red color. Furthermore, the analyses of the blood on the shroud have confirmed large amounts of this pigment. Washing of the body. The relatively small amount of blood is probably due to a special burial ritual. In this ritual, the body of the deceased is first cleansed of any blood that may have leaked out before death. In the case of the man on the shroud, the objects from the head, hands and feet, such as nails and thorns, were then removed. Especially in Judaism, the fresh blood that still flows from the wounds afterwards is considered lifeblood and must not be removed, as it is considered part of the soul of the deceased. Typically, the body would then be embalmed with aloe and myrrh, but there are no such traces on the cloth. This could mean that the ritual could not be completed, because the Sabbath rest began on Friday evening. Postmortem rigidity or rigor mortis. In particular, the position of the arms and legs suggests that the body was in rigor mortis at the time it was wrapped in the cloth. Rigor mortis begins approximately 1 to 3 hours after a person's death, until all muscles are completely stiff after about 6 to 10 hours. The arms were apparently moved from their elevated position and placed so that they covered the genital area, allowing the entire body to be wrapped. Left and right you can see the positive and the negative image, with a 3D illustration of the man on the shroud. What has not yet been clarified to this day. Number 1. The age of the shroud. In 1988, samples of the Shroud of Turin were tested for their age using radiocarbon dating, the C14 method. All the samples had been taken from the same location, the left edge of the shroud. A year later, the results were published. The shroud was dated to between 1260 and 1390 AD, and was therefore considered by the general public to be a forgery or at least not the burial shroud of Jesus. Raymond N. Rogers, then head of chemical research for the STURP research project, examined leftover samples of the cloth under a microscope between 2000 and 2004. He noticed that they contained different fibers than the rest of the cloth. These had apparently been dyed at some point and sewn onto the older cloth, presumably around the year 1300 AD. As soon as the Vatican agrees to a new testing of the shroud using a sample from the main part of the fabric, its true age will certainly be revealed, and the 1st century is by no means an unlikely period. We have the burial shroud, including the mortal remains of the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II, from approximately 1200 BC. Do you really think it is impossible that Jesus' shroud has been preserved?